Welcome back to the show. Our next guest uses dance as a means of exploration and liberation, both for herself and others in her community.
Here today to speak with us about the healing powers of Afro-Caribbean dance and its ability to transform collective healing through movement and wellness is intuitive dance artist and researcher Emilie Jabouin. Welcome. So happy to have you here. Now, let's dive right in. So you use dance as a way to tell a story. So for viewers who may not be familiar with this type of movement, what do you want them to know first about Afro-Caribbean dance and the role it plays in healing?
Yes, so thank you so much for having me. Hello. And so Afro-Caribbean dance is really part of everyday life. So that's it, and it's important to think of it that way because sometimes we think of dance or arts as completely separate from our lives. And folk dances from all over the world hold so much information about who we are, about what our lifestyles are supposed to be like, and how to heal ourselves. So it's really important to know that, to pass it on. And drumming, singing, dancing are meant to be inseparable. They're meant to be harmonized in Afro-Caribbean dance. And so I also want to acknowledge, you know, there are so many people in Canada, for example, who are maintaining this folk culture. You have Mapugine in Montreal, you have Prime Anthony Guerra here in the GTA, and I have my mentor, Peniel Guerrier, who's based in New York, who are all working very hard to maintain Caribbean folk.
It's fascinating. Now, you are also a researcher, so we want to know what you have found throughout your research, specifically in how movement through dance can help, we said, through healing of collective trauma.
Yes. And so I'm of Haitian heritage. And so in 2010, when the earthquake happened in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, I actually paid attention to dancers and actors who were using comedy and movement in order to tell stories of trauma and to externalize them. And it was really a way to collectively witness and listen to what people had gone through. And I found that really powerful. And I'm also working on my own piece called The Release. And it looks at intergenerational trauma that's passed on through the womb. And I'm also looking at my own trauma. And I recently showed an early exploration of the piece, and it was so powerful to be able to tell my story and to share it with people, and also to have people take responsibility for what emotions were coming up for them.
Wow.
And so just that sharing, that truth-telling essentially is very liberating.
It's liberating, but let's talk about the individual benefits of movement through Caribbean folk dance. What are those benefits?
Yes, definitely. So Caribbean folk dance is, each folk dance is based in an element. So you have water, earth, fire, air, and metal, or minerals. And so I like to think of our bodies as made up of 70% of water. So if we're water and water stays stagnant, it will fester bacteria. So as containers of so much water, we should always be moving. And so for me, dancing, moving is really, really important in our day-to-day. The rhythm that I'll be presenting today is called Yanvalou, and that rhythm is a water rhythm. And so when we think of water and this particular rhythm, it's gonna be in like a 2/4. And so the idea is that it's cyclical. The idea is that like you're always rocking and keeping the water inside you alive. Yes.
We are going to get moving with you in a moment, but first let's talk about the holistic aspects of this type of dance. I understand that there's, in addition to dance, also drumming and singing that take place, as you said earlier, right? It's all connected?
Right. So there's drumming, singing, dancing. And actually, just before we get to that, I also wanted to mention that Yanvalou is, to answer your question about like the holistic aspect, so it is a dance that uses the spine. And so when we're thinking of moving the spine, we're thinking of massaging like, the spine, which is essentially the core of our skeletal system. So physically, we're strengthening that and we're moving it, but we're also massaging our nervous system, because we're massaging the spinal cord. So when we're dancing Yanvalou, you're actually also helping the brain. You can release headaches, you can release stress, and so the body, the mind, the breath all of it is connected. So when I drum, my body's gonna be moving, I'm gonna be breathing, or if I'm singing or chanting, all these have to harmonize. And when I'm dancing, my body is the instrument.
Okay.
And so I'm breathing, I'm still breathing, I'm moving. So all these things are always interconnected.
Okay, so you're gonna just show us about, yes, okay, let's.
Yes. So I'm going to actually invite you to close your eyes, because I really
this to
want you.
audience.
Yes,
Close
please.
your eyes.
Close your eyes and experience Yanvalu.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to continue this. Why don't we head on over to the middle of the studio? That was beautiful. Emilie, let's continue this. You're going to show us 3 moves that we can all incorporate into our daily routines to keep this flow going. So
Yes.
the first one is a 2-step.
Yes. So it's very simple. So the 2-step is you're just stepping. So the cha-cha tells you to step on the first and the last. And you can add a swing. Yes, there we go. And this, for me, is just a gentle reminder that we just have to keep moving throughout the day. We have a tendency to sit down and stay still, and it's just not good for our joints, it's not good for our muscles, it's not good for us, yeah.
So can anyone incorporate this into their routines?
Definitely.
And is there like a wrong way to do we have to be self-conscious, or it's just that moving is important?
Yeah, it's just that moving is important. So all the movements that I'm going to show you are basic movements of like just basic physical movements. And when I teach Yanvalu, it's all about the rhythm. So if you're dancing to the rhythm, if you're breathing to the rhythm, well, you will be breathing to the rhythm since you're moving to it. You get all the benefits of it incorporating all 3. But you can also just, just remember to move throughout the day. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we're going to keep moving until we go to break.
We have more moves, but maybe we'll throw them on social media later so we can see,
sure.
yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Emilie, this has been so beautifully soothing in even just this short time. So we're feeling the benefits as well. Thank you for sharing this.
Thank you.
Beautiful. We're going to take a break, everybody. Keep moving. Keep moving. We'll be right back. It's so beautiful. It's very meditative.
Hey there, wasn't that great? Do you know where you can find some equally good content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with discussions, debates, and some laughs. Head there now, like and subscribe.